Hola, bienvenidos nuevamente a esta nuestra cuarta temporada de Latin America Spinning Master Meetings. Yo soy Carlos Uribe, Master Instructor para el programa desde México, saludándolos y dándoles la bienvenida nuevamente con mis amigos y Master Instructors detrás de cámara, María René, Lili Uribazo y Fer Acevedo, junto con nuestra invitada del día de hoy, Betsy Tranquilly, desde Hawaii. Hi, Betsy, how are you?
Aloha. Hello.
Entonces, bueno, lo que vamos a hacer es, Betsy va a estar hablando inglés para los que se estén conectando. Mari va a estar traduciendo por medio del chat, entonces toda la traducción va a estar ahí en el chat para que tengan la ventanita abierta del chat y puedan estar escuchando nuestra conversación. Okay, so I was just explaining everything to everybody, Betsy, in Spanish. Let's get started. So, Betsy, how have you been? How is Hawaii? Now, wait, hold on. I'm getting ahead of myself. Are you actually in Hawaii?
I am in Hawaii. I am on the Big Island. So we're a chain of islands, and I'm on the Big Island, which a lot of people know as the island with all the active volcanoes. So it's different from Honolulu and Oahu or Maui. We're the biggest island, but the youngest island in Hawaii. So we have the most land mass, but not a lot of people. But we have all the active volcanoes. So you sometimes see that come up on the news when she starts going off. So
Now, is that the reason why there isn't so many people there? The volcanoes, probably, or
maybe it's there's just not a huge the landscape is so different here. There's big areas in the middle of the island that you really can't build on or anything like that. So a lot of the population lives around the coast, so there's right in the middle of the island there's just a lot of open mountainous. They're not there because of the volcanoes, just because of the landscape, not necessarily because they're erupting.
okay, but that means you must have just a wonderful views from your window, right?
I do. Well, right now it's very foggy and rainy, so I'm not seeing too much, but I'm very for I Mauna Kea out my back door, and all the what we call pu'us. So that's the Hawaiian word for hills. So we have all these beautiful pu'us in the front of my house. So it is every day and I don't take it for granted. There's still moments on a regular basis where I look around me going, I can't believe this is where I get to live.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I'm gonna just take some time to make sure that everybody is on mute. Hold on. Okay. And what else was I gonna ask? Okay, so you're a master instructor, but you're not from Hawaii, right?
Not originally. I've been in Hawaii now. It'll be 15 years in April that I've lived here. So a good amount of time, but I'm originally from Connecticut. So I grew up there. My family is still there, and I moved out here 15 years ago.
Wow. Okay, okay. And you're also, other than being a spinning instructor and a master instructor, you're also a PE teacher.
I do. I teach physical education for elementary school. So I have students from kindergarten, so about 5, 6 years old, to fifth grade, which is about 11 years old. So that's my full-time job. And this is my 14th year at the school that I'm at.
And how is that going with the whole pandemic thing? Are you doing online classes or are you doing them at school? How's
We are face to face, and we've been fortunate to be in school with a few minor exceptions. We've been in school this whole time, and that's wonderful. I think it's great for the kids to be together, but it definitely has presented a lot of challenges. We have masks. We have to try. I have to try and teach PE without 5 and 6-year-olds going near each other. So that is that's a big challenge. And then, there was a lot of questions about equipment and sharing equipment with each other and cleaning all the equipment. And we've had to split our classes in half to keep the sizes small. So, my class, the amount of classes I have has doubled. So, I teach 1/4 grade half in the morning, and then I got to teach that same class, like the other half of the kids in the afternoon. And so there's just all these little challenges that have come up. But as a teacher, and we know this as spinning instructors, I think the ability to think quickly on your feet and adapt to what's ever in front of you, and to have to think outside of the box and get creative about the ways you've been doing things. I've always done things this way, and then something comes up that makes you think about it differently. And that can be very refreshing, to have to, I've been teaching for 14 years, and this year I had to throw out everything I've done for the previous 13 years and re-look at my entire curriculum and redesign it. And that's a great process as a teacher. This far into it, I just get to keep growing and keep thinking differently and reaching out to people, and looking for ideas and advice. So it's forced me to become a better teacher. So I appreciate that aspect of it.
Yeah, I'm going to have to reach out to you on that because we're going to be starting classes soon. I'm doing online classes only for my PE classes with the kids. But yeah, that was one thing that I was wondering, how are we going to manage, especially kindergarten, where they're always together, running around. They want to touch each other. They want to share everything, food, drinks. It's hard. It's hard.
I will say the youngest kids are the best with it. The younger they are, the better they are with it. It's the older they get that it becomes more challenging to keep them apart. The little kids have been wonderful about the masks. They've been wonderful about distance. They've been wonderful about understanding and following the directions. The younger kids have been great. It's my 4th and 5th graders that need a lot more constant reminders to stay apart and follow protocol. My husband teaches middle school, and forget it. I mean, it's forget it. So the little kids will do, they're still trainable. They still respect us. The older ones are, they're social and they want to be together, and that's a little bit trickier.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard, but it's doable. It's doable. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with spinning. I'm imagining that this is back in Connecticut, or was this in Hawaii when you started spinning?
A little bit of both, actually. So I travel back to, because I'm a teacher, so I get summers off. So that allows me to go back to Connecticut to visit family every summer. And goodness, it was around 2014, 13, somewhere around there. I went back to visit, and a girlfriend of mine was very into group fitness at the time. I was not. And she started dragging me to all her group fitness classes. And she couldn't go one day, and I had this membership, and I see on the schedule spinning, and I didn't know anything about it other than I would hear people talk about it and how hard it was. So I was scared. I was very scared to walk into my first spinning class. And I kept, I'm going to try this one, and then I wouldn't go. And maybe I'll go to that one at that time, and then I wouldn't go. And finally, I just walked in by myself into a class. I never saw a bike, never set one up before. The instructor was really wonderful, and she took the time to set me up. And she told me something really important, and that was, put your blinders on. This is your ride, nobody else's. Work to your ability. You control the knob. And that made me feel really comfortable and safe right off the bat. And once we got going and the music and I fell in love in my first ride. I truly did, and I remember that ride. And and this is me and my personality. I found it. I fell in love with it the first ride. Now I was going twice a day for the next 2 weeks while I was in Connecticut. I was like, I need more of this. Give me as much as I can. And when I came back to Hawaii, before I even left Connecticut to come back, I was online looking who has spinning classes, who has bikes, where in Hawaii can I do this? And I found a place literally right next door to where I was living. And I signed up for a year. And I don't think that they had ever had anyone pay in full for a whole year. They were like, who is this woman? We've never heard of her. And that was it. And those spinning classes were a little different. There was a lot of fusion classes. That's really, there wasn't just straight spinning. It was spin TRX and spin circuit. And so I was doing a lot of that. And the instructor there got married, and she got married in Costa Rica. So she was gone for a little while, and then the subs weren't showing up. And I was going to 5:30 in the morning classes. And if I'm getting up that early and then the sub doesn't show up to teach the class, like, I'm not happy. So that was like, you know what? I'm going to go get certified. I live right next door. If the instructor can't make it, I can sub on a last minute deal, no problem. So the next year, when I went back to Connecticut, I saw that there was a spinning certification in Connecticut. So went back to Connecticut. I was certified by Tammy Riley, and it was a wonderful experience. And Tammy, I stayed in touch with after that. And I would reach out to her after a year of teaching, came back, went right into teaching. And after a year, I reached out to Tammy again. And I said, I'm really struggling with how to put together profiles. I've just been teaching my whole first year. I taught Master Instructor profiles, the ones that spinning.com put out every month. And I stuck with that, which for me worked really well. It taught me the spinning program. I learned there was things on these, what's a switchback? And I would have to go look it up. There's just so many things that, and I just started to understand how the energy zones worked and things by using the profiles from the master instructors. But then after a year, I wanted to be able to do that myself. And I wasn't confident enough to do that. So I reached out to Tammy. Next time I went to Connecticut, she sat down with me one-on-one, and we just talked about it and how to get ideas and how to put together a profile that works. So I'm really grateful for her mentorship as an early instructor. And I always had it in my mind that from when I took Tammy's certification, I was like, I want to do what she does. Like, I'm a teacher at heart, and how do I do what she does? And kept my eye open for opportunities to become a master instructor. And when I got the email that they were looking in certain areas, and Hawaii was one of them, I just, I said, now's the time. I'm just going to go for it. And it worked out. And that was for me where I felt the family of spinning. In Hawaii, I can feel very isolated. There's not a lot of other instructors that were following the spinning program. There's people out here teaching cycling classes, but there wasn't the mentors. That's why I kept in touch with Tammy. I live on an island, and I felt as a spinning instructor, I was on an island doing this. So going out to WSSC my first year helped me feel like part of something. But really, when I became a master instructor and was welcomed into the family and the team, that I felt the power of this program and the community, the global community that we truly are. So it's been a fast ride for me. This has all been since 2014. So
Wow, yeah. So that has been pretty quick. And yeah, Tammy is actually, yeah, she's incredible. So yeah, I've been in touch with her lately, and yeah, she is just an excellent master instructor and a good friend. And she also has her podcasts, which are awesome. I really love her podcasts. And so let's see. So when you decide to go out as a master instructor, you said that you're all alone in the island and you don't have anything or anybody to, well, you have friends, right? You can talk to friends over the phone and all that. But how was that process as to getting into camp? Just being all by yourself and not really knowing if you were doing the right thing? How did that go?
The hardest part of the camp process and going through the master instructor process for me was I was at the end of getting my master's degree in kinesiology. So I was simultaneously balancing my last semester of my master's with all the demands that are pre camp and getting to camp. I left for camp on the last day of school. So I finished my PE, my school year with that. I
Mhm.
turned in my last assignment for my kinesiology master's degree and then got on a plane and went to master instructor camp. It all happened on one day. And so the I was so tired mentally, emotionally. I think just doing master instructor camp is very there's a lot of emotions that come with it, there's a lot of work that comes with it, but having all of that happen at once for me, I think added to a lot of the weight of the experience that I was feeling. And I know once it was over and once WSSC was over after it, I went back to Connecticut and I didn't leave my bedroom in my parents' house for about a week. My mom's like, "What's wrong with you?" I was like, "I'm tired. I'll be okay in a week, but I need a week to just do nothing."
Mhm.
So that was for me was the hardest part was balancing it all. You know, I was working several jobs, getting my master's degree, and then let's just throw master instructor camp on top of that. So, but that's I don't get to pick the timing in life. You know, things happen when they happen, and you
Yeah.
are given opportunities when you are, and you do your best with it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just a great opportunity to get creative and to know what your strengths are. And so now when you have a difficult time, you know you can pretty much get through anything because you've done it already. Uh, so it's amazing. It's amazing that you had all those tasks, all those things to do, and managed to get through camp because we all know that camp is hard. For those of you that don't know, Betsy was in our camp along with Fer, Mari, and Lily, and Gabi, who I see is around here somewhere. Uh, so yeah, it was pretty hard. Now you get named master instructor. Did you teach your first SIC, your first spinning instructor certification in Hawaii, or did you do it over here in the States?
I did it in the States. So Tammy, when I was leaving to Miami I was going from Miami to Connecticut to visit, Tammy was on the same flight. And she said, "Well, I'm doing an SIC in a week and a half. Why I'll tell Lou, if you're ready, we'll just do it in Connecticut, because the way it goes when you're becoming a master instructor is your first SIC, you have to be evaluated by a senior master instructor. And some of the concern for me was being out in Hawaii. Well, if all the senior master instructors want to fight on who's going to come do me, right? They all want to come out to Hawaii. But I was a little nervous about when that was going to be able to come together and how long that would take. So Tammy was just like, "You're going to be in Connecticut. I have 2 SICs lined up. Why don't you just do it while you're in Connecticut? And we'll just get, if Lou signs off on it, we'll do it then." So it was literally, I think, a week. I think I had 1 week after WSSC and Master Instructor Camp before I did my first SIC. 1 or 2 weeks. It was fast. And so I actually, and this is how full circle things came for me. I got to do my first SIC with Tammy, who certified me, and I did it in the same room where I took my very first spinning class ever. So it was a beautiful experience. It was beautifully full circle, and it's just the way the universe works out sometimes.
Yeah, that sounds just amazing, and it's like your life is really fast paced. Life has really thrown things at you really quick, so you got to be ready. Uh, so now you were telling us that you got your master's degrees in kinesiology, right?
Yes.
Do you do a lot of coaching as well?
Well, I do a lot of different things. So, I am a personal trainer. So I've been doing that as well, working with individual clients. The group fitness thing I've been doing now for about 5 years, and I still do that even in the pandemic. I'm just doing everything via Zoom right now. So I teach my spinning classes via Zoom, and I teach my group fitness, weightlifting classes, things like that via Zoom. So, but the kinesiology degree was really specifically geared towards the physical education part. So that was my primary focus in my degree, was on teaching physical education. So obviously I'm still doing that.
Wow, that's great. Now, you were going to talk to you are going to talk to us today about ACE, base to ACE. What exactly is that?
Base to ACE is a periodization program that I run every year. So this is my third year doing it, my first time doing it online. And I almost didn't do it this year because of everything. And I wasn't sure how to, if it would work in this environment the same way that it's worked when I've been able to hold these live. So it's an 8-week training program where we progressively build over time. And what I love, the reason why I started it a couple years ago is it was right after becoming a master instructor. And again, I wanted to bring something more to spinning, around spinning in Hawaii, and more than just the one-off spinning classes. I wanted to really introduce what the spinning program truly is and what it can do for you, to the people of Hawaii that I serve. So really, spinning at its heart was meant to be and is a periodization program. That's why we have the different energy zones. It is very difficult, I think, the way that indoor cycling has evolved since spinning's inception 20 plus years ago, to really do a periodization program. When you're teaching one class a week, and or you get those one, it's very hard to do. So I wanted to get back to the core of the spinning program. I wanted to get back to the heart of it and introduce it and lay it out to people, from beginning to end, on this is the program, this is how it progresses. And you could actually use the metrics, even getting people in a one-off class to use heart rate and understand how to use heart rate. It's in the group fitness world, at least where I am, at least in the United States, it isn't a regular part of how people are coming to exercise. So by creating a structured program, like this is what we're doing, we're bringing in heart rate monitors. I'm going to teach you how to use them. We're going to do a threshold test. And you're going to have individual zones to work in. So this is a program that, even though we're working in a group, it is individualized to you. You are working to your individual zones. So it's group fitness for one person, which to me is very exciting. And it was an opportunity, again, as a teacher at heart, to teach about um, intensities and how to work in different intensities and why and what's happening in the body when we train to this intensity, and what happens to the body when we train at threshold, and why threshold, what threshold is and why it's important, even if you're not an elite athlete, as an everyday fitness enthusiast, how threshold training can help you, high intensity training and how to dose it appropriately, and most importantly, from beginning to end, to see a result, to see an outcome. We test at the beginning, we test at the end, and you can see your fitness over a period of time grow because of the work you did. To me, that's exciting. To me, that's exciting. And what I found is, for the people who participate, it was exciting for them too. And the community that was built around that, and the questions they would ask, and it just brought the spinning program to life, not only for them but for me as well. So we did one shot of it. It was very successful. Then word of mouth grew, and then I did last year, right before the pandemic. We ended our program about a week before everything shut down. And then this year we did everything online. And again, no advertising or anything, just word of mouth from the people who have taken the program before. And we brought it back, and it was just awesome. Awesome. So I'm excited. I'm excited to share about this, because when the pandemic started, as an instructor, and everything changed very quickly, my thought process was, where do I fit? As a independent, small, live in a small community. I'm just one little independent contractor. Where do I fit in this new world of online fitness? There's big conglomerates, that we're fighting against. And people have a lot of options. There are a lot of options for their fitness needs. And so where do I fit into all of this? And for me, the Base to Ace program turned out to be, I think, the place. I do want to say, Carlos, you and I have talked about this. Spinning, the presence of spinning online in this time has probably been the strongest of any cycling program. The people doing the spinning program through Facebook and Instagram and Zoom, we have, as instructors, put ourselves out there in large numbers and large quantities. And I'm so proud of that, and the work that everybody's doing all over the world. For me, it kind of felt a little bit like screaming into a crowded room and hoping somebody would hear me. So
Yeah, I
I
get
have,
that.
right. I have not done Facebook. I have not done Instagram. I do hold one spinning class on Zoom for a very small amount of people through my gym. But trying to push myself and promote myself out there through those mediums, it's just not the emotional and mental space that I was in to push. And what I found was doing a program, creating a program with a start and an end. I think that is the place that little independent instructors like me can do something different than a one-off class. I can do something different than what these big companies offer. If people want a one-off class, they can find them anywhere. They
Hmm.
can pay for it. They could not pay for it and do something online. But to do something that's individualized, that gives a goal and an objective, and a start and an end, I think that as instructors, this is where we can make our impact in this new world.
Hmm. Yeah, and I think that's the most important part about being an instructor, or let me rephrase that, being a coach instead of an instructor, because yeah, there should be a beginning and there should be an end to the process. And usually our clients don't see that. I mean, we get our gyms full on January, then by February it's empty again, and then you get them back maybe May or June before they go on vacations, and it's off to the races again. And maybe we'll see them right before the holidays again, and they're just willing to do that, probably that month of work, not really commit to a whole year or maybe a semi-annual or biannual program. Uh, so I think you're right. You're right. We should be doing this more, and we should be promoting ourselves as just that, doing a program that has a beginning and an end, that it's a short period, but you get results other than just going online and doing. I feel like doing whatever. I feel like doing this or I feel like doing that, and this has happened to me. I've done it. When we got into lockdown, I did the same thing. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna do spinning anymore. I get to do something else because I've been teaching spinning from Monday through Saturday for I don't know for how long, like 15 years. So getting to this point, it was like, wow, let's relax. Let's do yoga. Let's do hit training. Let's do something else. But yeah, you don't really get into that periodization, which is essential, which is what gets the work done, which is what gets you results. And I get this because, like we said, we're into the same degree, and I understand that. And it's been hard. And I was going to ask you, how did people take those first days or that first time you taught base to ace? Were people like, yeah, no, maybe that's not for me, or were they like, yeah, oh, definitely, I want to start that.
I was surprised at the response to it. And because I think right off the bat, people see, wow, this is different. When I have actual metrics to work with, that's different than when I just go in and I think I'm working hard, or, when you have actual numbers. And I'm using heart rate, but whether you're using power is another metric. That education right off the bat is a big eye opener to people. And so that almost immediately with a program like this, when you do the first test and you open that way, and then they get their numbers, and then they have to start working to those numbers, they're like, oh, that's different. This feels different. And so that piques their interest to keep going with it. I think for some people, it depends on the person, the type of rider and the experience coming in. Sometimes the hardest part of the base days program is the early stages of it, when we're working the endurance energy zone, or zone 3 in heart rate work. So we're getting these people who are used to push and rest, and push and rest, getting them to slow down and dole out their endurance over time. But the beautiful thing about doing programs like this is the education component. Again, in one-off classes, if I'm just teaching an endurance ride in my once a week one-off spinning class, it's not always easy to give out that information and have it be received, to understand the benefits and importance of endurance training, and the endurance energy zone. So when you lay it out in a program, there's the educational opportunity for this. And here's why we're doing this. Here's why we're doing it now. And here's what it will get you over time, and why we're here and where we're going next. So that, to me, and as an instructor putting together a program like this, it made me a better instructor because I had to go back and do my homework. I had to go back and do a lot of research, a lot of going into books I haven't been into in a long time, doing internet searches. I didn't just throw a bunch of rides together. It had to be a well thought out, progressive, structured plan. And I wanted to use the science that spinning teaches to make sure that I was giving my riders the best opportunity to see the results that they came for. So I had to go back and do that homework, and then had to understand periodization and heart rate training and power training well enough that I could relay it in layman's terms in a way that people will understand. So it made me a better instructor by getting into building a program like this.
Yeah, definitely. Um, Also, uh, well, think about that periodization, and you actually had to go through some of that, right? Just had to start from the basic all the way to the hard stuff. But yeah, it pushed you somewhere, maybe out of your comfort zone, maybe just a little bit, because we love fitness, we love to do this. But when you start researching and when you start doing all your homework, like you're saying, and you see or you go back and read your spinning manual and you say, wow, so these guys were right. These guys had it all in here in this little manual. I had to go research hours and hours and hours just to come up with the same thing. Now I understand it more, but it was all here from the beginning. Isn't that right?
That's absolutely correct. And, I mentioned in the beginning of our talk how in my first year as an instructor, I only taught Master Instructor provided profiles.
Hmm.
And there was a lot of times I would look at some profile. I'd have my books that you buy from spinning. I'd get the ones that were sent in. And there were sometimes early that I would look at some rides and go, I would never teach this. There's nothing but seated flats here. Like, I don't get this. Now I can look at those same profiles that my first year of teaching that I would look at and go, I would never teach this in a class. Now I look at them, I'm like, oh, I get it. And I can't wait. I would teach this. And I see what they were getting at here. It's
Hmm.
always been there, but I had to grow in my understanding, in my experience, just teaching over time, in my research, in my collaboration with other instructors like yourself, and that community that was built to really internalize and understand the principles that, like you said, have been there all along. They're right in the instructor manual.
Hmm.
But it's a process, and you have to commit to that process. And I think that's part of the problem sometimes with new instructors, is because this is foreign and new, and you get one. I know in the United States it's a 1 day training. I think in other places it might be 2 days, but that's still not a lot. And then you're off on your own. And unless you commit to continually learning, and keep going back to your manual, that's where I think people fall into, I'll just do what I saw someone else do online, whether it's right or wrong. And for me, I remember Tammy said something in my instructor training that stuck with me as a new instructor. And someone asked her, I've been to these spinning classes before, and they're so different from what you're teaching us. Why do people do things like tap backs or squats on the bike or things like that? And she said, if they can sleep at night knowing that these things are not how we teach, like they're contraindicated, and if they can go to bed at night feeling okay about that, so be it. She's like, I know for me, I know the right way, the safe way, and I want to be able to sleep at night. And that stuck with me. We are responsible for people's bodies. We are responsible for people's well-being. And I wanted to do the right thing. So from that moment on, from that instructor certification to today, I have committed to 100% following the spinning program, even when other instructors around me were not doing it. Even when other riders in front of me were used to something else and I was different because I was following the program, I committed to it. And I said to myself, if I am not their cup of tea, it's okay. If they want something else that's the spinning program does not provide, they can go find that. But I'm going to do this. And I was followed as a result. Like the
Hmm.
people came and the people did it. But I just stayed to this program and I learned as much about this program as I could. And it has never let me down. It's brought me to where I am today. It brought me through to the master instructor process, all of it. It's I just staying true to the program was the number one most important thing I think I did walking out of my instructor certification.
Yeah, yeah. It's been an amazing ride for you. Uh, I wanted to talk about something else now. I've been recently viewing your Instagram profile, and if somebody, one of our master instructors, could write it down so that people can visit your profile. You sometimes post your trainings, but you mostly post what you eat, and you eat a lot of hotcakes, a lot of pancakes, a lot of it's amazing, and you've done an incredible job at being fit. I mean, you're so fit, and you're eating pancakes. How does that go? And I've asked you this off camera, but I want our listeners to know.
Um, you know what I am a person of extremes. I mentioned at the beginning when I found spinning, I wanted to do it twice a day, every day. I tend it's a quirk of mine that I find something I like, I throw myself all into it. Um, but that did not serve me well with nutrition, I will say. Um, and what I had to learn was the extremes of I'm going to eat no carbs and I'm going to eat all the living in those extremes don't work over the long haul. So what I had to learn was that elusive, moderation, right? Um, for me, it's not about what I can take out of my diet. It's about what I can incorporate and in what amounts. So that's always what I'm looking at. I don't, if I'm looking to drop a few pounds, it's not like I'm going to cut sugar, I'm going to cut carbs, I don't look at it that way. I might eat some less of those things than I might like to, but they're still there. It's still part of what I like my pancakes. It's still going to be there. I don't always show the rest of my meals, which are, a lot of vegetables, a lot of grains, a lot, I am vegan, so I don't eat any animal products. But it's for me, it's always about what can I add in, and not necessarily what I can take away. And just depending on what my goals are at certain times, I might eat more of something or I might eat a little less of something, but I never really say I can't have this. I just think that's a mentality over the long haul that that is not sustainable. I want this to be my lifestyle. I love food and I want to enjoy it. And I have goals that I want to reach too. So it's just understanding, how to, where it all fits. And it does fit, it can fit. But it was, again, education and understanding little bits at a time over time onto how to create that sustainable nutrition.
Now, have you been a vegan for all your life, or did you start out at a certain point?
I've been vegan for 5 years, and
Wow.
it was my husband's idea. I was very against it. I thought he was crazy. And now it's probably one of the most important things that I cherish and value in my life. It sounds weird. It's food, right? But I think that there's very few diets or ways to eat that can have a social impact, that can have a political impact, that can just have the every time I feel like every time I make a decision on what to eat, that it is contributing to something good.
Mhm.
I do believe that. And that's my why behind it. It wasn't to lose weight. It wasn't, my husband was concerned about the environment, and that's why he wanted to do it. And that's I followed along because at the time I didn't do any cooking. He was the cook of the family. That has changed. That has changed. But I bought into the need on a personal level to do the right thing by the environment, and then the animals, and then I really bought into that part of it too. And the health aspects were the added bonus for me. It wasn't the reason or the why. You can be healthy and eat animals, 100%. I don't believe that being completely plant-based is the way to have optimal health. You can eat animal products and be healthy. Now, the environment and the animal, and taking care of the animals and not causing harm, that's a different why. And that just happens to be my why. So
Yeah, so I started, I think I started uh, being a vegan about 5 years ago as well. I was living on the southern part of Mexico, on the beach resorts, on the Yucatan Peninsula, and yeah, we would the drive up to the hotel where I was working. You had to go through the farms, and you would smell the farms, and then when you tasted the food, yeah, the taste was there and the smell was there, and it was like, no, I'm just gonna have the salad and the rice, thank you. And so that started me off. I'm not a vegan anymore. I'm a vegetarian, but yeah, that started me out. And for the whole year that I was working there, I didn't feel at any point that I was losing energy, that I was in any way feeling unhealthy. More of a feeling more healthy, actually. Uh, and yeah, it's a good lifestyle. It's different. Now, when I moved back to where I am right now, uh, I have the best steakhouse right next door. Uh, so every evening, you can imagine the smell every evening. Uh, but of course, I don't have the farm here, so that's a different smell. That's kind of what got me into it. Not really the same point as you are, but yeah, it's the point I'm trying to get at is that yeah, you can feel good, you can be healthy either way. I haven't started eating meat, but I do fish, and sometimes I do chicken, maybe a turkey. But yeah, it does make a difference. At least in my experience, it does make a difference. You feel better. Uh, but anyways, uh, please follow Betsy on her Instagram account and make sure you write down the notes on her pancakes, because those look amazing. I just want to go over there each day I see her, and it's like wow. Because I do pancakes. I just did pancakes this morning, and it's like no, those don't look like Betsy's pancakes.
thank
But
you.
yeah, it's amazing seeing you. I mean, also the physical transformation you've gone through from since camp, since 2000. What was it? 18.
Yes. Yeah.
So
Well, and again, fitness has always been a part of my life. But sometimes the where it falls on the priority list is different. It really is. And um, it wasn't that fitness was not a priority during those years, but it felt when you're getting your master's, when you're working 2 or 3 jobs, going through master instructor camp, it falls further down on the list. And I was also dealing with an injury at the time. And I think the combination of just the chronic stress, an injury that wouldn't heal, probably because of the stress, and what my schedule in life was like at then, it just was a time period in my life where it was not high on the priority list. Coming out of that stressful period after master instructor camp, I knew that I was going to have to take action to repair the damage from those 2 years. And I took it slow. I started swimming, just easy swims, a little extra yoga, just started slowly going back into it and giving my body some healing time. And then from there, it's, I also looked at ways to de-stress my life. That period of time taught me that I cannot do it all. I like to think I can, but when I do go into those modes, there's a cost. And I realized that I was no longer willing to put my mind and my body and my emotions through the cost of doing it all and being everything to everyone. And I needed to be much more selective about how I spent my time. Um, so these were all great lessons that I learned from that 2-year time period. And when I met you initially, so I was coming out of that and I was learning lessons from that. And the last 2 years have really been about new priorities and how, and not just in my fitness and, weightlifting and things like that, but where I put my energy and where I put my time. And I'm so grateful for that because, when the pandemic happened, and it's a stressful time for everyone. I think everyone can relate right now to the emotional stress when things are changed on you without your say and without any control. And now your home is your office, your home is your school, your home is your fitness studio, and adapting to all those new changes. There's a toll there that we all carry with us from that, emotionally, physically. And for me, I was just so grateful that I had done the work before that happened. We don't know what's going to happen in our lives. We don't know when a pandemic's going to happen. So it's always this, well, I'll start on Monday, or next year will be there's always, when the time's right, I'll do this. And I'm so glad that I started that process before. So when the pandemic hit, yes, it was hard. It felt like every 2 weeks I had to change and switch what I was doing, my schedule, my routine, how I went about. Every 2 weeks, it was something different. But the work I had done leading up to that put me in a better position to manage it, to pull back when I needed to know where I could give, and to keep the habits that I established going. Yes, I put on weight. I started working 10 feet from my kitchen. Yeah, like there were some things that, some little habits that, fell off to the side, but the main ones I was able to stay consistent with. So, and that's one of the big lessons that I learned, is that just to not wait for the right moment. We don't know what's going to happen. It's life. We're going to be dealt things that are outside of our control. And to stay healthy mentally, physically, emotionally, there's just these small little habits to build into your day, one little habit at a time, whether it's drinking water or, my husband, he's not a fitness guy, but he's got habits. He gets up in the morning and he journals and he meditates and he goes for a walk. That's his morning routine every day. And it's just those little well-being things that when things get hard and life gets challenging, you can maintain, you can stay grounded in those little habits to take care of yourself.
Yeah, and well, it's been close to a year now, and I hope people have been doing their part, taking care of themselves, because, well, basically we've been given a second chance, right? To just look back and see what we should be doing. We should be taking care of a lot of things, including the environment, like you said, uh, the animals which share the world with us, and taking care of ourselves, which I think is the most important thing we've forgotten over our lifespan. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna touch on this because this week I was so energetic and I was like, I can do anything. I was like, I don't know, I had like a runner's high. I don't know what happened to me, but I was like, I'm invincible this week. And guess what? You're not. So I have this injury from playing football in college, and it came back. Now it came back recently. It's been like about 5 years since I've had any pain in my back, and it just came back because I was like doing a whole lot of exercise, and my wife was like, "Take it easy. You're not that young anymore." But yeah, I mean, we need to take care of each of ourselves. We need to understand that even though things are going easy right now, we can do some things that could get us hurt. We could be doing things that are making us unhealthy, like maybe not eating right, maybe sitting in front of the TV all day. I don't know. We can do, but we can also do a lot of fitness. We can also do things to get healthier, change habits, try something new. Of course, you never know what life's going to throw at you, so might as well be prepared to do things differently every now and then. Uh, like my wife and I, we switch sides on the bed. We did this like 4 or 5 months ago. It was like, you know what, we're switching sides. And I was like, why? Just because, let's do it and see what happens. Because you get into a rhythm and you need to change that rhythm. Sometimes we go out for walks. We have a golf course right next to our house, and it's like a 5K walk, and it's good. It's good, right? It's different. Like I said, when I started out in lockdown, I was like doing everything else other than spinning because I've done spinning for such a long time, and it's good to share this with our viewers. Uh, that yeah, we need to take this pandemic, this lockdown, as an opportunity to change
I,
whatever. Yeah.
I'm sorry. And I think as we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel with this, as the vaccinations roll out and things, I'm starting to notice on Facebook Marketplace, at least in my area, a lot more home fitness things are being sold right now, which is telling me that people are ready to get out of there. All the stuff that they bought to work out at home during the pandemic, they're starting to unload, which is telling me that people are going to start coming back to the gym. And I do believe that. I believe, people are saying the rise of home fitness, the rise of home fitness, and this is the new way of go. I think that when people feel safe and comfortable again, and the restrictions are lifted and the vaccinations are more widespread, people are going to want to get out of their house.
Hmm.
People are tired of using their house for everything. And I think we're going to see people coming back. They want the social interaction with each other, with us as instructors. And I think we're going to see the gyms get busy again. And as instructors, I think this is an important point because people are going to come back in after maybe a year of not being consistent, right, at home. And so their training levels might be a little bit lower, and they're going to come back with a lot of enthusiasm. And this is an area as instructors that we can really serve our public in making sure that they're building appropriately, that we're not coming in so hard, so fast that they're getting hurt. And we've all seen those people that come in and they do 3 classes a day for a month, and then you don't see them again for 3 months because they overtrained and got hurt. As people start coming back into the gyms and into the fitness world, we serve an important role on reminding people how to progressively build back to their pre-pandemic fitness levels. Maybe some people were able to keep those levels up. My guess is there's probably been a lot of inconsistency.
Hmm.
And now they're going to get that one-on-one guidance from us. And it's going to be very important to make sure people understand how to return back safely and how to slowly and progressively, without ego, leave your ego at the door and allow yourself the time to build back up. And again, something like the Base to Ace program, doing some sort of periodization program would be great for that, as people start coming back in, where you put them into some sort of structured program that will progressively build them up without injuring them.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, no, definitely. And we're running out of time, so I want to thank you, Betsy. You've been awesome to have here. You're an inspiration. You're an inspiration to me. I'm just I don't have the words to say how incredible it is to see you and do the changes you've done to your lifestyle, and everything you do is just incredible. So my congratulations to you. Uh, and well, this happened to be like a master instructor reunion from what I'm seeing. So let's do something. Let me open up the mics because everybody, look at this. We've got Lily, Marie, and Fer, of course. And we have Adrian, we have Leo, we have Gabi.
Hi, Gab.
Wow.
Team Rock.
Team Hard Rock. How is everybody?
Fine. I just finished the class.
Saw you.
I'm walking home now.
Good.
Good. Leo is also
Brazilian
here.
sky.
Beautiful to see you out. I know it's very windy here. We're getting a lot of wind, so we can't really go out right now. But it's sunny, so that's
We
good.
have crazy weather going on. And then one day it starts raining, then another day you get all this wind, and then another day there's the big bright sun over there and it's hot. Ugh. Of course, I mean, it's just crazy right here.
Let's just go to Miami.
Miami, chico. Please.
See you in
Please.
Miami or Hawaii.
Vámonos para Miami, chicos.
Come. I'm waiting for you guys. Come.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get together. So for everybody who's seen us, thank you very much. Muchas gracias a todos los que se pudieron conectar el día de hoy. Quiero agradecerles que hayan estado aquí y
I'm gonna take a picture. Voy a tomar la foto.
Oh, sí, necesitamos.
Leito, déjanos verte.
Leo, pon la cámara.
Leo, prende tu cámara para tomar la foto. Everybody
Leo,
smile,
camera.
comb your hair.
Espera, estoy manejando, espérame, me estaciono.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. We're gonna give Leo a chance to pull over because he's driving,
He's gonna be.
so we can take that picture.
Y pues muchísimas gracias. Terminando este episodio de nuestra cuarta temporada comercial, anuncio antes de que se termine, just a special announcement. Nuestra cuarta temporada va a sufrir unos cambios. A partir de ahora vamos a estar haciendo un webinar por mes. Entonces les informamos esto para que no vayan a estar pendientes el próximo fin de semana, sino que dentro de un mes nos volvemos a ver. Un saludo a todos. Ahora sí sonrían para
Ahí
la
está
foto.
Leo. 1, 2, and 3. Smile. Yay! Woo!
Perfecto.
Thank you, Betsy.
Thank you so much, Betsy, for being here.
Thank you, Betsy.
you,
Gracias,
Betsy.
Mildred, por venir.
Sí, muchas gracias, Mildred. Muchas
Ahí
gracias
está
a
todo el
todos.
chat. Toda la traducción está en el chat. Así que puede leerlo todo con calma.
Carlos, importante, en YouTube van a estar la posibilidad de los subtítulos del closed caption para la entrevista.
Sí, estamos viendo esa posibilidad. Quiero ver cómo funciona. Realmente nunca lo he utilizado. No sé si simplemente se le pone closed caption y automáticamente se traduce.
Creo que sí.
Entonces vamos a ver esa posibilidad ahorita.
We upload the webinars to YouTube. So right now, what we're trying to figure out that there's an option for closed captioning. So when we upload this video, there will be the closed captioning is going to be there. So.
Okay.
It's amazing. I don't speak Spanish, but I like actually.
Nos
figured out
entendiste.
how to
Nos
just-
entendiste.
You
Nos
understand?
entendiste.
Good.
Eso.
That's great. So, thank you again, guys. Muchísimas gracias a todos por conectarse. Cuídense mucho. Nos vemos en un mes. Nos vemos un mes, but we'll keep in contact. Let's keep chatting. Let's keep looking at those Instagrams, looking at those pancakes, getting recipes, and have fun. Have a safe weekend, you guys. Okay. Muchas gracias a todos. Que tengan muy buen fin de semana.
Good to see you all.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.